Remagination Farm is a family-owned farm that serves as a healing space and learning center. It's a space that asks their visitors to reimagine our connection to the land and each other. Here to share more is co-founder of Remagination Farm, Dr. Robyn Rodriguez. Dr. Robyn, thank you so much for being here at Live in the Bay.
Thank you so much for having me, Jess.
Yes. Give me a little bit about the history of Remagination Farm.
Yeah, well, Remagination Farm really started as a way of honoring actually my late son. So my son decided to live in the Philippines, which is where my parents were born, where his grandparents were born, in 2018 because he was really eager to learn from indigenous communities and to support them. And unfortunately, he went to one community in the island of Mindoro shortly after that community had been hit by several typhoons in early 2020. So he was there to help with rebuilding efforts. And of course, 2020, a few months later, was global lockdown. And unfortunately, we lost him at that time. He was just 22 years old. He wasn't able to get medical help. And, you know, for us, the farm was really a way to honor him. You know, he was there to learn from indigenous communities, to also support them as they deal with climate change and climate disasters. You know, the Philippines is actually the #1 natural disaster capital in the world.
Wow.
This is based on just recent kind of rankings. We see just how we're hit in the United States by climate disaster. And our farm really is, in a way, how we can, you know, do our own part, even on a small scale. We are a regenerative farmers, so that means that we're really concerned about soil health and really trying to recover all of the ways that the soil has been completely damaged by past and actually current agricultural practices that are very, very extractive and actually damaging in the long run. So we honor him. It's a way of supporting kind of our indigenous communities, not just in the Philippines, who are at the front lines of climate change, but also here in the U.S. I mean,
yeah.
October isn't just Filipino-American History Month, it's also the time we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. So.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm so sorry about your son, and I just love that you are turning this farm into something beautiful, you know, to remember him by, and also to inspire and educate others. Why is it so important to connect to the land and the indigenous people that were there before you?
Yeah, I think it's about, you know, I think we all benefit. I think there's a way that we sometimes forget about the fact that so much of how we live our lives, the possibility for the lives that we live, has to do with the kind of land stewardship that indigenous people have you know, done in the state of what we now call California for thousands of years. And I think this is a way that we are kind of honoring all of those generations of stewardship. And again, you know, in the context of climate change and climate disaster, whatever we could do in our own small way as farmers, but also because we are a learning center, we're also a healing space, but it becomes an opportunity, I think, to engage other people in really thinking and reimagining their own relationship to land.
Yeah, I think that it's just always important to connect back to your roots and to history, and you just learn so much from that, and there's things that you can implement into your life. I want to talk about your harvest this season, and you brought a couple of things here on the table. Tell me about the harvest this season.
Yeah, so this is just season 2 for Remagination Farm.
Wow.
I was a professor for many, many years at UC Davis, only started farming 2 years ago. So this is just season 2 yield, but super excited. So what we have here, this green, it's called a bottle gourd in English, but upo in Filipino, which is very much an important kind of vegetable that folks use in soups. We have marigolds, so we do have an event coming up to, it's sort of the Filipino version of Dia de los Muertos, or, you know, or the Araw ng Patay, Day of the Dead, or Undas. So we have marigolds that kind of honor the ancestors. We have an event on the 9th about that. Tomatoes are such a staple of Filipino cuisine. I mean, every Filipino dish starts with garlic, onions, and tomatoes. We've got great array of tomatoes. Okra. My husband is Hmong. So we also have the lemongrass and Thai chilies that are very much a part of his cuisine. And yeah, I mean, we didn't expect so much bounty, so I had to learn how to preserve food very, very fast. So I have like these pickled bitter melon, also very Filipino, and a couple of jams that I made that I learned to make.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on a plentiful harvest for season 2. That's incredible. And these just look so colorful and bright. I want to talk about this book, of course. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so this is Munganan Lola. This is coming out of Sawaga River Press, and we're really excited to collaborate with them because we are going to be launching the book on November 9th. So that's the weekend, Veterans Day weekend, 3-day weekend. And it's a great story. I'm not going to give it all away. People should read it. But the story really is about connecting with our elders, connecting across generations, and really connecting with our ancestors. And so we just thought it was a perfect collaboration because so much of what we do too is to hold space for healing. Nature really healed me during the course of my kind of grieving with the loss of my son. And so we want to be able to hold space for folks to come and think about their ancestors, honor them, and hold space for collective grief.
Yeah, and if people want to come to the farm and check it out and experience all that you have to offer, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, we are on Instagram at Remagination Farm, and we also have a website, remaginationfarm.org.
Okay. What do you hope that people take away from the farm?
Yeah, well, you know, it's in my new classroom. It is Filipino American History Month, so this is a place where I teach Filipino American history and more. So I really hope that people learn to reconnect to land, to food systems, their histories. It's a great place to do all of that learning.
Dr. Robyn, thank you so much for joining us here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.